Hey, it's Sally Steele, and welcome to my show. I have a special guest for you today. Really good friend of mine. He's been in so many bands, and he's been in the music business like forever. Really great musician. He's been with Thin Lizzy, Whitesnake, Journey, The Dead Daisies, so many other projects. And today he is here to talk about his new releases, Viva La Rock and New Direction. And I'm so excited to talk to my friend. He's way on the other side of the world. So please welcome my good friend, Marco Mendoza. Hold on just a second. Add there. Hi, Marco.
Good morning, America.
I forgot to mention
How are you,
I forgot to
Sally?
I forgot to mention, and this is brought to you by Rockavaca, my sponsor, Rockavaca, the vodka that rocks. Okay, I gotta get that in
Awesome.
there. So well, hi. I guess it's early for you now. Where are you? You're in Belgium, Holland. Where are you? Netherlands?
I'm in Holland, and it's 12 noon ish, So, but a lot of travel. I'm constantly moving. A little bit of sleep deprivation going on.
Mhm,
Um,
mhm.
it is what it is. It's the lifestyle that we chose, and ultimately I'm out here playing my music and spreading the word, so I'm happy about it. I get a little fatigue here and there. That's fine. I get to get up on stage and have a blast, so that's what matters. Oh, look at that, a beautiful rabbit going by.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I have my cat under my
Mhm.
feet. That's the only animal I see right now here in Vegas. But
Cool.
now, what project are you? Who are you touring with right now? Tell me about what you're doing over there on the other side of the world.
The past couple that I'm here with my solo project, and
Okay, which
I'm
is
supporting my last, which is Marco Mendoza.
okay,
Trio, quartet, whatever I can get,
okay, okay.
however cats I can get on stage.
Hmm.
And pretty much we're supporting the last, I have four solo albums that I've released through the years.
Hmm.
And for one reason or another, I've gotten busy. I'm very lucky playing with some amazing projects and bands and artists and all that. And so when 19 came and the Dead Daisies went into hiatus, I decided that I was going to put a little bit more energy into my solo stuff. And I got a lot of requests and a lot of invites to come and play here, go do this, do that, go to festival. And I decided, yes, I'm going to go. And it's kind of grown into a pretty cool thing.
Hmm.
Every year that goes by. Of course, we had the pandemic, the kind of
What pandemic? What are you talking?
uh, I know. That little thing that happened in 2021,
Oh, that little thing.
that little thing. So it kind of slowed everything down, the rhythm. We're back on, and I'm doing some pretty exciting things this year. And the last release is New Direction that came out last September.
Okay.
Against all odds, I must add, because of what's going on. So yeah, I'm out here representing my music. I'm hanging out with some amazing players from all over Europe and the UK, and
Who's in the band? Would I
um,
know members? Would I?
yeah, right now I have Drew Lowe, who's a guitar player with a band called Inglorious. He was there for a minute, and it was really great. Great player. He's also touring with Boy George,
Mhm,
and he's one of those session guys in the UK in high demand,
mhm.
playing the guitar and singing. Great people. I got to say, I really insist on trying to hang out with people whose company I really enjoy, because the road is one of those. You become a family. You get really close to each other, and if you don't really dig each other, you can't get along. It turns into another thing. So I'm trying to be as positive as possible, and create a good vibe on stage. And you need that energy with your people.
Yeah.
So I respect these guys. They're great players and great people. very important.
Okay.
So that's Drew Lowe on the guitar, and then Chris Allen on the drums, who's also another session guy from the UK. He's working a lot. Actually, they come in, they fly in, they do my dates, and then they go back to the UK and do their own dates. So
Mhm,
they're in and out.
mhm.
But I've had quite uh, quite a collection of players be part of my band. My first band in LA as a solo artist, rock and roll solo artist, was Kenny Arnoff on drums. I think you know him.
Oh, yeah.
Um, Lauren Anderson, who is now touring with Glenn, and then Steve Weingart on keyboards, and it was just a blast. So, I'm out here, Sally, checking it out, but to my surprise, I'm getting some great results. People are just inviting me everywhere. Tonight I'm doing a festival here in Holland. Tomorrow another festival. I'm going to Wacken. I just got invited to another festival in Austria. I closed a deal 2 days ago. So, so people are noticing and they're digging the music, which is the most important thing in my book. It's about the music, like the olden days. Like I used to buy music and then get into the songs, the music, and then wait for the bands to come around.
Mhm,
When I was a kid. So I think we're
mhm.
back to that.
No,
So any also, uh huh. Go ahead.
no, do you feel that rock and roll is you tour a lot overseas. Do you feel that rock and roll is more, popular in overseas or in the United States?
Well, if I can speak for myself, I go where the work is. Meaning, if I get invited here to come here and do that, that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to gravitate that way, which makes sense.
Mhm, mhm,
For some reason, uh, the market in the U.S. is not geared, or let's just say the circumstances are very difficult for somebody like me. After so many years of being in the business, I'm considered a newbie because I'm doing my solo thing for the first time.
mhm,
To get
mhm,
anything going in the U.S., it's a hard market. Very little support.
mm,
Unfortunately, it's like you're pretty much on
mm,
your own. You got to make it happen.
mhm,
So it's
mhm.
just one of those things where I go where the work is. Now, having said that, we are. I mean, there's some knocks on the door now in the U.S. that we're looking into, and I don't want to get ahead of myself. And uh, you know, uh, I want it to happen, and I want to announce it when it's solid.
Mhm,
But there are some offers
mhm,
coming in now. It's almost like you have to get on the radar wherever it is, Europe, UK, Australia, South America, Japan, to kind of open the doors in the US. And so that's what I'm doing. Back in before the little event in 20 happened, um, there was some pretty cool things cooking for me in 20 in the US and
yeah,
21. And then we know what happened. So
yeah, no, that's, where I last saw you was with the Dead Daisies. You were such a great host, showing me around backstage and everything, so
thank you. Yeah, it was in 18, right? 2018. Yeah,
I thought it was more
it must have been because that was the last
1920. Oh, I don't know.
tw-
I don't know. I'm not good with numbers.
well, 19. I know
I can't
18.
remember.
Well, I'll tell you why I know because 18, 19 is when John decided to pay attention to his solo stuff. And so he left the Daisies in 19.
Okay, okay.
That's when we went into hiatus and we were looking for a singer. And Glenn Hughes got on the radar, and the rest is history. But I started paying attention to my solo stuff back in 19.
Oh, okay.
So it must have been 18 or even 17, possibly.
Now, are you still a member of Journey? Do you still tour with Journey?
Well, the situation there, and it's hard to explain. I'm real good friends with Neil. I'm real good friends with Dean. We've been working together
Oh,
through
yeah.
the years in quite a few projects, and we always have a blast.
Mhm,
Uh, I got to meet
mhm.
Arnell a few years back, and Jonathan and Jason. It's a great team, man. Great cats. You can imagine just being there, being part of that quite an experience, and I loved every minute of it. But the reality is I was coming in to cover. Randy Jackson was scheduled to come in, and um, I don't know all the details, so I can't talk about anything I really don't know. But let's just say I got the call saying, "Hey, um, something's up with Randy. Can you come in and help us out?" And I said, "Absolutely, yes, I'm there."
Mhm.
And I had a blast. And what a catalog of just great music, man, through the
Yeah.
years. So in this business, Sally, you never know what's going to happen next month and the month after that and the year after that. It's just one of those things. I'm just lucky and blessed and grateful and humbled that I'm in somebody's radar to get those calls, you know.
Yeah.
Getting a lot of calls. It's very cool, very cool.
Mm.
We're talking about possibly doing something in the future, and I can't get into details again because it might not happen until it's a trip. You know, things are planned. I have actually flown to another country, got off the plane, and everything was announced it's going to happen, and then it falls apart. So
Yeah.
it's what it is, the nature of the beast, you know. But yeah, there's a few things cooking. I think it'll be, if they do happen, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of blast.
What was your first big break in the music business? Like with what band or what happened that, was a catalyst? Because you've played with everybody.
Um, for me, I like to consider the beginning of my career, my focused career, after I got sober. I got sober in '87, September 20th of '87, and shortly after, I met Bill Ward from Black Sabbath, and he invited me to play on his first solo album, and I think that was the catalyst, meaning it got me back on the map.
Mm.
Before then, I had done quite a few things. I got called to audition for Cher. I got called to audition for Lionel Richie. I was in the circle, but let's just say I had a real bad I was out of control with drugs and alcohol.
Mm.
I
Okay.
had a real bad problem with heroin and cocaine. I can talk about it today, to the point where it was just, I couldn't put my career together. I couldn't put my personal life together. As you can imagine, something like that takes over completely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I consider the beginning of my career in '89 when I met Bill and I played on his album, got me on the radar. And then I started getting a bunch of calls. You know, Edgar Winter, John Sykes came in uh, to hear me play with my Latin jazz funk trio, and needed a bass player that played fretless. And I came in on the second album, Nothing But Trouble, Geffen. And of course, that was another time where it got me on the map in a bigger way. So things started happening. What I want to say is this: uh, my situation with drugs and alcohol was so bad that things were happening, but I wasn't ready to deal with it. I wasn't ready to,
Mm.
spiritually, emotionally, psychologically. I was very lost. I was lost completely.
Mm.
And so I would sabotage. This is what we do. Addicts and alcoholics, we sabotage things in life, opportunities, because essentially, we don't feel we deserve good things in life.
Mm.
That's the bottom line. I mean, for me. And so when I got sober, I realized what a gift music was for me to be able to make a living off of it,
Mm.
and get invited to play with all these amazing musicians and artists. And I just ran with the ball, and I showed up on time. I took care of business. I did my homework, and um, I probably delivered, and I started getting the calls. So yeah, one thing led to another, to another, to another. Yeah.
How did you manage to kick the habit of drugs, alcohol, and everything?
It's a long, long, long story, but let's just say I call it divine intervention. When somebody like me is so lost, I was so lost then that divine intervention came into my life and put some circumstances around me where I lost control completely, and I got thrown in jail. I got busted, and I was kind of forced to look at my life because for the first time I was sober. I hadn't been sober in a long time, and I had a little bit of clarity. Those moments when you go, "What the hell is going on? What happened?"
Mm,
Because it is like that.
mm,
Drug addiction is a beast. You get lost,
mm,
and
mm,
and I was getting sentenced in the morning, and I remember I got on my knees and I prayed like a little girl, and I cried and I said, God, just please take over. I can't do anything with my life anymore. It's out of control. Take over, and I trust you, and I surrender. That's the word, surrender,
oh,
to the
okay.
fact that I had a problem.
Okay.
That Yeah, and my life changed from that moment on. Boom, boom, boom. But we like to say that I got in my own way. I got out of my own way. That's what happened. I just stopped thinking,
Mm,
and I
mm.
did all the right things that I needed to do, listen to the right people, the right advice, et cetera, et cetera. And so, yeah, here I am, 35, coming up on 36 years of sobriety now. September
Congratulations.
20th. Thank you. Thank you.
Did you write a
So that
song,
was the,
Surrender?
oh, I've throughout my my solo stuff, you can hear it everywhere. It's
Mm,
all
mm,
the messages are there of where I've been, my journey. Songs of hope, songs of faith, songs of understanding. There's a song in the first album that just came out. It said, "I'm not broken anymore." It's pretty
mhm,
simple, to the point. Look at me. I can open my eyes. I can feel what's around me. I can feel love. I can feel passion. I can be here. And I'm not broken anymore.
mhm, mhm.
But there's quite a few songs. Um, it's been a great journey. Sobriety has been the best thing I've ever done in my life.
Yeah, well,
It's
you're an inspiration. You're very
thank you.
I'm so happy that you're straight and everything. I was never an addict. I lived in Hollywood in the 80s, and I never drank, I never smoked, and people don't believe me that I've never been high or drunk in my life. My life has been boring in that
I
respect.
do believe you.
I was always a driver. Now people say, "Oh, is that because you're a born again Christian? You never got drunk or high?" It's like, no, I just didn't. It's almost like fear. I didn't want something to control me, and I knew if I was backstage with Kiss in the 70s, and I saw people doing cocaine, and it scared me. And I saw what it did to them, and I thought, I don't want that controlling me. So I was kind of a chicken, I guess. That's
Yes,
why I never did it.
it is,
So,
but it's good fear, and I say it's instinctively your spirit and your mind was telling you, hey, that's the wrong way. That you could project and see 10 years from now, 20 years from now, I'm not going to be that cat that's stumbling around and lost in life and all that. And I can
mm,
I can talk from my own experience. I'm not judging anybody, but let me just say this: I've been out here working a lot. I've been on tour. I've done quite a lot of work, and I see it, and I see that there's a big problem today with drugs and alcohol, even more so. The difference today is that these are prescription drugs. And so
yeah.
it's okay, it's accepted because the doctors gave me the drugs to take. But it's out of control.
Mm,
And it's really sad when I see some of my colleagues, people I love and I respect and I look up to, having those issues. But it is what it is. We all make decisions that take us to certain places in life, and we're all walking our own path, and we need to learn our own lessons at our own time, you know? So
mm, mm,
I try to, uh, I try to walk the talk. And,
mhm,
instead of, I try not to share my message unless it's requested. And it's
mhm,
been requested a lot
mhm,
recently, but I'm not a preacher. I just share my story from my own
mhm,
experience. And you'd be
mhm.
surprised how many people are really curious, sometimes. What's up with you, Marco? You're
Yeah.
always happy. You show up on time. What's up? What's up? I said, are you doing some stuff behind the scenes? What? I said, no, man. I'm just I try to take care of my body. I try to exercise, stay in shape. Um, and I'm grateful. I call it the attitude of gratitude. I say that a lot, but it's true.
Yeah.
My
Aw
best
yeah.
days, Sally, is when I wake up on the right side of the bed, is because I'm grateful to wake up, number one. Two, to look at my surroundings. Look, for example, today I'm in Holland, beautiful place. I'm surrounded by great musicians. I'm going up on stage and playing in front of thousands of people, festival, sharing my music, my message. It doesn't get any better. I have a great family at home, a great wife. I have kids, 5 children. That sometimes can be a bit of a headache, but that's part of the gig.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah, yeah, I you
so
told
life
me
is good. And what
yeah, you told me you got married a while back. How did you meet your wife? Tell me about your wife.
my wife Leah, we met through a mutual friend that kept telling me about. She was dating one of the drummers I was playing with, and she told me, "Oh, my friend, you got to meet my friend. You guys are just, you're a great match. I see a lot of things that she would be attracted to, and vice versa, and all that. You got to meet her. Got to meet her." And this went on for months and months and months, and then one time I remember going to a gig in the valley, and when you walk into a place, people kind of catch your eye. You're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, who is that?" They they either remind you of somebody, you think you know them or whatever. But I saw her from a distance, and I got to say, without exaggerating, she, she took my breath away. I was like, "Who is she?"
Wow.
Like I was trying to figure out, do I
Wow.
have I met her before? She just looked something about her. She was absolutely gorgeous, obviously,
Yeah.
but just
Yeah.
it's almost like my fate was telling me she's going to be your partner. I just got chills.
Mhm.
Look at that.
Awesome. Awesome.
She's going to be your life partner, and I got to turn the phone off.
Um,
Um, so
um,
let's just say about an hour later, my friend came and told me, Marco, the friend that I've been telling you about, she's here. You want to meet her? I said, yes. It was her. It was a trip.
well,
And
it
we've
was
been
a
married now.
no, so you
I'm sorry.
didn't meet her that night. You saw her.
No, I saw it from a distance, and about an hour later, after the gig, the show was done, my friend came and said, that friend of mine that I want you to meet, that I've been wanting you to meet, is
Oh.
here. You wanna meet her?" I said, "Yeah," and it was her.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
the rest is
Oh,
history. We've been married
awesome.
now for 23 years, two
Oh,
kids, and
awesome.
she's amazing. She is the best partner, the best friend, the best wife, the best mom. Unbelievable. She's a source of strength, and she's my rock. I have to say, she's amazing,
Mm. Well, it was
amazing.
quite
I
like
love her
that
to death.
when I met you. Do you remember how we first met?
I'm trying to remember. What was it? Was it back in L.A.?
No.
A festival.
I went no, no. I went to the airport to pick up my mom here in Vegas, and I saw you, and you just looked
Oh
like a
yeah, at the
professional
like a
musician.
baggage,
Yeah.
at
You
baggage.
you had your
I remember
bass.
now.
Yeah, you had your bass, and you just looked like a real professional. I'm like, who are you? Who do you play with? And I guess you were going to the Palms. And I remember that night. I mean, when I had my print magazine. I mean, I was like, deadline, 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 work, work, work. And I was home working that night, and you called me. Hey, you coming down to the Palm? Just like I'm working. I'm so bummed. I didn't get to go down and hang out with you that night. And then I saw you at
It
Nam.
was, and by the way,
Nam.
yeah, yeah, yeah. By the way, it was Jerry Lopez in Santa Fe. Amazing. I've known Jerry since, wow, so many years, and he's got an amazing band.
Mm,
And he invited me. He invites me every so often to come and play for a night and sit in on five, six, seven
mhm,
songs, whatever, and we have a
mhm.
blast. And that's what it was. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh, okay.
But those gigs, you have to check him out. Jerry Lopez in
Oh,
Las
okay, cool.
Vegas when
Okay,
you get
cool.
a minute.
Yeah,
Really
yeah.
amazing stuff. Uh-huh.
Now, just real quick, now, did you have a musical background, growing up? Was bass your first instrument or
No, I grew up in a musical home in that my mother was a singer, professional singer. She had a bit of a career. She got in the charts. And then
Yeah,
in Mexico, by
okay.
the way, I grew up in
Uh,
Mexico, Tijuana. And my father was a clarinet player, so he was into the big band, Glenn Miller, Benny Goodman, all that
oh,
stuff.
okay.
And so there was
Oh,
always
okay.
music around the house. When they separated, my grandmother came from Mexico City with her piano and piano teacher, classical, and she's really the main reason why I got interested in music in a heavier way, in a deeper way, because she taught me how to listen to music, how to appreciate stuff. And I tried piano, but it was just too strict and too structured and
Mhm,
disciplined for
mhm.
me. My brother, I was a middle child, so my brother got a guitar for his birthday, and the guitar be laying around here and there, and I realized, well, I'm going to grab it, and there was a book, uh, Mel Bay book, guitar book, but I don't know how many chords, and I started learning chords on my own, away from everybody in my little room.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
so that was it. I realized that with three, four, five chords, I could play a lot of songs that were on the radio then. It was CCR. They were, hit after hit after hit.
Yeah,
And that was it. I
yeah.
realized this is very cool. My father noticed that we were getting into music, and he got my brother some drum set. He got me an amp and a guitar, and then we found two other brothers, and we started a garage band. That was it, pretty
Oh,
much. The
oh.
next band that I joined needed a bass player. The bass player had moved out of town, and they noticed that I sang, and they wanted me to audition on bass and singing. So my father made sure I got a bass from a hawk shop,
Mhm,
a pawn
mhm,
shop, and I learned 5, 6 songs to audition, and I got the gig, and that was it.
mhm,
Something about the bass that really intrigued me in that it was a little more difficult.
mhm,
Guitar for me was strumming rhythm. I was pretty much playing rhythm guitar,
mhm,
rhythm chords,
mhm,
and a little bit of lead, but not much. But the bass, as I was singing, it became really challenging for
mhm,
me at the beginning. So
mhm,
I'm that kind of guy. If something's challenging, I want to be able to overcome it and learn it.
mhm,
And so that was
mhm.
it. I fell in love with the bass and singing, and you know, 95 years later, here I am. But uh, it's been great, Sally.
Uh,
It's been great. I have
uh,
nothing but great stuff to say about my career. It's been a great journey. There's so many things that I want to talk to you about that are cooking and they might happen. And just stay tuned to marcomendoza.com. All the information is there, updates and but right now my focus is my solo music, my solo albums, New Direction, Viva La
mhm.
Rock, Casa Mendoza, and Live for Tomorrow. And so any and all support is greatly appreciated. I appreciate your time, honey.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you.
I got just a couple more questions
Oh,
before you
sure, of course.
before you yeah, I just wonder, how did you hook up with David Coverdale and Whitesnake? How did that all come about?
Um, Pretty much, I got a call from David.
Okay.
David Coverdale called me, and and you've heard this story happen a lot, but it's true. I hung up on him.
What?
It's so funny. I hung up on him because I didn't believe it was him calling me. I would, in my mind, I'm thinking, he's got management, he's got friends, he's got people, which I later found out he did, but he called me directly. Somehow he got a hold of my number and called me, and that beautiful voice, and he's so charming and great guy. He says, "Hello, darling. This is David Coverdale," and I'm like, click. I hung up, and
Did he call back?
and he did, yeah. And this happens a lot because these are people that you look up to from a
Mhm,
distance. and you can't fathom the idea that one of these days you're going to hook up and meet, and you know what I mean. It's one of those same thing with Glenn Hughes. I was hanging out with him the other night, a few nights ago in Bratislava. These are cats that were instrumental in you playing music. They inspired you. They influenced you. They had such a big impact in your life, and now they're calling you. So it's one of those things. It's human nature. So he did call back and explain to me that he was interested in having a meeting. Would I be interested in flying up to his house? And I said, yeah. His secretary called. We looked at schedules, and a few weeks later, I was up there and we had a great day, lunch. We spoke about everything, including John Sykes. I was working with John Sykes a lot.
Yeah.
We were doing the Thin
Yeah.
Lizzy, the Blue Murder thing. And so basically, I think that's what gave him the spark to kind of find out who I was, what I was doing, because I was doing a lot of work then, like I am now. But let's just say I got on the map, and David's very meticulous. If you look at if you look at the history of Whitesnake, he just recruits nothing but the best, man. The best players, the best cats out there. So I was flattered. We spent a good old day, and he told me about this project that he had going. He wanted me to participate and collaborate, and I said yes. So within a few months, we're up there, we're recording, and this album ended up being Into the Light. Great album, by the way. If you don't have it in your library, get it. Into the Light, David Coverdale. And so we had a blast. And then, and then he offered me the Whitesnake gig and tour, and I said, absolutely yes.
Mm,
I
mm.
was very lucky then. I was working with Ted Nugent, with Thin Lizzy, and with Whitesnake back to back. It was just somehow worked out.
Yeah.
Tommy Aldridge
Yeah.
and myself. So somehow. Uh, Unfortunately, 2 weeks before rehearsal started for the Whitesnake tour, world tour for 2 years, my father got diagnosed with cancer.
Mm,
So I couldn't
mm.
find it in my heart to be gone. I had to be with my dad. So I called David and I told him, listen, my father, I need to be next to him. I need to be with him. He got diagnosed. They gave him 3 months. And he says, yes, you're doing the right thing. And so Tony Franklin ended up doing
Okay.
that run.
Yeah. Okay. I know.
But
Yeah.
but he
I
did
know.
call me and said, Marco, I miss you. You're my bass player. As soon as we can, we will hook up and do it again. And we did. Great time. Highlight my career. Absolutely. Amazing.
Great. Great. That's awesome. If
You
my
know
if
that you know that's how
my
it is, Sally. I'm sorry to interrupt.
no, it's good.
You know that's
No,
how
it's
it
good.
is in this business. It's word of mouth. It's people talking about who they're working with, and you get on the map, you get on the radar, and the videos are out there, the recordings are out there, and people like DC, they're looking, they're always investigating, and he is inside the industry and he knows what's going on. So that's how it is, pretty much in every camp.
Mm,
You meet people along the way.
mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if you could change anything in the music business, what would that be?
Oh, if I could change, I would change the way the corporate industry just influenced the music business in such a bad way. I would make it available for up and coming projects and talented people to have a vehicle to get to their fans, because that's the part that's missing nowadays. It's very difficult, and there's a few indie labels that are trying to make a difference out there, but it's getting complicated and harder every year that goes by.
Mhm.
Financially, I would make it available for the artists to have a place to go to record their music that would explore different ways of distribution. There's a lot of possibilities, but unfortunately, everything is based on profit. When everything is based on profit and there's not enough profit, it ain't going to happen. So that's the issue. If we
Mhm.
have people that really believe
Mhm.
in the industry, really believe in music, and really believe in nurturing what we have here, because it needs to happen, it's going to disappear. It's going to start going and fading out. Unfortunately, that's what it is. A lot of the venues are shutting down. The festivals are going through some changes. We have to compromise. We may have to make changes. So that's a loaded question, and there's so much that I would like to change personally, and
Mhm.
and I'm trying to help in my own little way. I really honestly, in my heart, I try to take out projects that are up and coming when I book dates and tours with me to kind of give them the exposure.
Uh-huh.
Uh, because otherwise
Uh-huh.
they wouldn't have an opportunity to play in front of an audience. So there's little ways you can do, but on the bigger level, uh, yeah, the recording situation needs to be improved in
Mhm.
this distribution
Mhm.
and make it feasible for the artist to continue because it's such a one-sided thing, you know.
Mhm.
It's like they're
Mhm.
killing the industry, man. They're tapping it too much. Tap, 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 and pretty soon it's not going to be anything to tap.
Mhm.
It's one of those
Mhm.
things. It's crazy, but so I'm out here on my own, putting tours together, selling my CDs and my vinyl and my shirts at every gig, booking my travel, booking my logistics, which is can be a nightmare sometimes. But I'm doing it because that's the only way it's going to happen for
Mhm.
me.
Mhm.
And I'm all along the way. I'm meeting a lot of cool people that believe in the music business and industry that are helping out. So
Mhm.
loaded question, loaded
Mhm.
answer. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay. That's okay.
There is so
That's
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And I just want to say, I admire you. I mean, on stage, you're so powerful and charismatic. You do such a great job. And I want to tell you something kind of funny. Well, tonight I watched the new Indiana Jones movie, and my favorite actor was
Oh,
in there. Antonio Banderas is in the movie. I didn't know that. And to me, you are the Antonio Banderas of rock and roll. So I'm giving you that title.
muchas gracias, Sally. Thank you so much, honey.
Yeah.
I'm flattered. He is,
What's
yeah.
what's your favorite? What's your favorite movie star or favorite movie?
Oh my gosh. Do we have a couple hours?
Okay, just first
um,
couple the
I gotta
questions.
say,
Okay, just
on tour, I really dig the Top Gun thing and what Tom Cruise did, and that movie was amazing to me. I love that movie. I really enjoyed every minute of it. There's so many, so many. And you caught me off guard because I'm thinking about I'm still trying to figure out the last question, what I would do to change but yeah, I think that movie was really well done, really well produced, and it coincided with it carried the story further on. And for people like me, it really hit home. Really, I really dug it, man. Top Gun. I saw it in Germany. I
uh,
was on
uh,
tour, and I heard that it came out, and it just happened to be playing in English, which doesn't happen that often.
mm.
So I went there. I called the guys. I said, "Guys, I'm going to a movie. You want to go?" And the guys are like younger. I had my boys from Croatia, and they didn't even know what Top Gun was.
Wow. Okay.
I know, but
I,
I
I
really
think
dug it.
I think you'll like the India. When I went to see the movie tonight, Indiana Jones, I thought, it's not going to be as good as the other ones, but it'll be okay. But I gotta say, I liked it as much as others. I liked the what happened. There was kind of a twist to it, and I liked the ending. And I'm not going to spoil it, but yeah. So go see that and see my favorite
Cool.
movie
I'm
star,
going to.
Antonio Banderas. He's
I'm a
Antonio
fan.
Banderas. Yeah.
Antonio Banderas. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
But I know you got to go. My last question is if if there's is there anything that your fans may not know about you that you want them to know or don't want them to know? Either.
Oh,
Either.
not really. Well, there's perceptions about what we do and who we are, but I gotta say, man, I'm honestly in my heart, in my spirit, and I come out here. I've been out here now for almost 8 weeks, almost 2 months.
Mhm.
I'm a homebody. I
Mhm.
really love being home. I
Mhm.
love being home with my wife and my
Mhm.
kids, with our little dog. And the older I get, the more I appreciate it, so I miss it more.
Yeah.
Obviously, can have a music career, be a solo career, whatever you want to call a musician, um, working musician, if you just stay at home. I mean, I do a little bit of session. I got a few albums to do, and I did a few out here. Uh, but you have to go out on the road. But I really dig it, man. I could see myself working less and less as the years go by on the road and doing more focused work. At least that's what I'm hoping, that
Mhm.
we can be a little
Mhm.
more focused, not so scattered, and do the gigs that are important. They're all important, but a little more
Mhm.
focused, and uh, and keep writing music and keep putting
Mhm.
music out. But I love being home. I love to cook. We have, when I'm at home, my wife and I have family gatherings. I really dig it.
Yeah.
I've learned to
Yeah.
appreciate it more and more when you get away from it. That's what it is.
Mhm.
Right now, 4th of July, you guys are
Mhm.
getting ready to have a bang. Is it Tuesday?
Ye Yeah.
It's Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Well, mhm.
4th of July, my
Well,
my boy and I, we have a blast with fireworks. We load up, and the
mhm.
whole street just goes
Mhm.
bananas and
Oh,
highlights. And I'm gonna miss that. But
yeah.
that's one thing.
Yeah.
I really enjoy being a dad. I don't know how good of a dad I am. I try to be as good as I can. And But we got to provide as well. But I love being a husband, a dad, being at home.
Oh,
What else? Yeah,
great.
yeah, the simple
You're
things in life.
you're gonna be
Yeah.
back you're gonna be back for NAMM, right? January coming up.
Yeah, Nam's going to be back in January now.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's looking like it. Yeah.
Well, I hope to see you out there, and
Please do. Are you going?
I'm I might. I don't know yet. I have my award show like tentatively planned like right before that. I got to see what's happening, but I want to remind
In
everybody to go.
LA?
No, it'll be in Vegas. It'll be in Vegas. But I want to remind everybody to go to marcomendoza.com. And now your new release is um, Viva La Rock and also New Direction, right?
And New Direction.
Okay.
Yes, yes. Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, keep out there rocking away.
We will talk soon, Sally. Thank you for your support, honey.